Over these many years, it's sometimes been said that we have to become divine scientists and divine magicians and divine sorcerers, divine teachers, and so on. So let's see what happens when we continue to delve into this divine science and see what it brings up for us. As was said the other day, it's been said by the great Tesla and other great minds that if mankind knew the significance of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, they would have the secrets to all of creation. But then it was also quoted the other day as saying that Divine Mother would very often state, even the angels have to come down from heaven to walk the 9th pathway to the 1. Now, we know that the 3, 6, and 9 are the secrets to creation, and we know that there's more. What is it that lies beyond the movement of life and all its manifestations? What does it mean even the angels have to walk the 9th pathway to the 1? What is this 1? And there's rather a complex, maybe convoluted story to put into our divine witch's cauldron and stir it up. It's the story of a wise man who had 3 sons. And the wise man was coming to the end of his life, and he called his 3 sons to him. And he stated, I am about to pass beyond this realm, but I have learned that there is a tree that has 10 branches. Each branch bears a different fruit. One fruit can restore children to the childless. One fruit can bring healing to all maladies. One fruit can bring the wisdom of Solomon, and so on. And the old wise man said, this tree is thirsty. Demons have built a ditch around its roots so that water cannot flow to nourish and feed it. I give you the task of finding this tree and bring the nourishing waters that will allow it to bear fruit that gives life to all of existence. And the old man passed away, and the 3 sons, the eldest of which said, since I am the eldest, I will go to try to find this tree. And so he departed, riding his horse. He was away for some time, but he came back sad and dejected, stating that he was unable to locate this tree. And so the second son said, let me try. And so he too left on his horse. But after some time he returned unsuccessful, stating that he too was unable to find this tree. The third son said, let me try. The elder brothers laughed at him because the third son was disabled. He was not even able to take one footstep on his own. He was lame. But he said, I must go. You were able to ride your horses, but you can get me a wagon, and I will go. And so a wagon was hired with a wagoner, and it was laden with food and goods, and the third son set off. But they had not gone very far when they were beset by a group of robbers, a robber chief and his 9 cohorts. They stripped the wagon. The wagoner ran away because he knew that his life was in danger. And when they saw the young man sitting there, unable to move, they merely went about their task of taking everything, the wheels off the wagon and all that it contained, leaving the young man sitting there. After they left, he knew that he could not remain, otherwise he would starve. So he lowered himself from the frame of the wagon, and on his belly he crawled out into the forest, where he was able to subsist on the grass and the herbs that grew. But then, as he was foraging, he pulled up a certain herb, and out came its roots. And at the root of this herb was attached a stone, a faceted stone. And when the young man looked at the facets of this stone, he saw that there were strange kinds of hieroglyphics or wording on them. And as he peered at one facet, it said, touch this place and you will be taken where the sun and the moon meet. And so he did. Touching that facet, he suddenly found himself at that place where the sun and the moon meet. And strangely, he was able to hear the conversation that was taking place between them. And they too were stating that this tree needed to be watered, it needed to be replenished, but the demons were building the ditch bigger and bigger so that the nourishing flow of life could not reach it. But then the sun asked the moon, isn't there a way that this can be helped? And the moon said, yes. At the crossroads, where the 10 roads meet, each road is covered in a dust, and each of the road's dusts have qualities. If anyone walks on one road, they become righteous. In walking another, they become insane. In walking another, they become healed, and so forth. Hearing these words, the young man was inflamed. I must nurture that tree. I must find this tree. And then he remembered the stone and picking it up, he read on a facet. Somehow it, even though he didn't understand the words in the hieroglyphics, he knew what it was saying to him. Press this facet and you will be taken to the crossroads. And so he was. And there at the crossroads, he saw the 10 pathways, the dust. So he very carefully took dust from each, marking them carefully, but intuitively recognizing the one with the dust of healing. He trod on this dust and found himself whole once again, standing tall, able to walk. And he remembered the path that he had taken and the place where the robbers had beset him. And so he walked that path and came to the place where he found the robbers counting their loot and taking some of the dust from the path of righteousness with a little pinch of dust from the road of insanity. He mixed them together and tossed them where the robbers would walk. 9 of the robbers, except the robber chief, walked on the dust and immediately felt great sorrow for all that they had done. But the touch of insanity had them blaming one another for being led astray. So they each started to fight the other until they annihilated themselves, leaving the robber chief. Now, the robber chief also then walked in the dust and was overcome with a sense of sorrow. And with that touch of insanity, he started to beat on himself. But then the young man who'd been observing this from a tree came down and said, "You can be saved if you make repentance and give back all that you have stolen." And this is what the robber chief did. He restored all of the goods to the young man. He went to the town and returned all his ill-gotten gains. The young man again took his stone. Turning it, he saw another facet, and gleaning its meaning, touch this and you will find yourself at the tree. And so he did. And there before him was the great tree, its 10 branches clearly visible, but a front and around and behind, the large dish with dancing demons, their blood-curdling cries shrieking in the air, and the young man quaked in his shoes. But he remembered the dust, and taking out that which held the dust of righteousness, when the wind was blowing in that direction, he threw the dust. The demons danced, and because of the greatness of their evil, as soon as the dust of righteousness touched their feet, they disappeared. The ditch, too, suddenly was no longer there. It seems that it, too, like the demons, was an illusion. The young man took the few steps that brought him under the great tree, and then, with the stone in his hand, looking to it, looking to the stone, suddenly it brought forth a stream, a flowing stream, which made its way to the tree, to the roots of the tree. And before the young man's eyes, the branches of the tree blossomed, and fruit began to form. How is this significant? Metaphorically, when we look and recognize that the secret of creation, the movement of life, as is said, is contained in the 369. What do they mean in our life? And the one, and its pathway. Do we need to delve into divine science to find the answers? Or are they already there? Where? Where do we find them? Satchidananda, the coming together of the three levels of existence to bring a state of unity, oneness. What is it that pathway is? The ninth pathway to the one. Are you treading it? What significance does this story have relative to this? Thank you, thank you.